Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. Wow, I have another update to share with you. This one is actually infuriating, and not only to me, but to people of the community that this happened in. Also, I have some other encounters I'd like to share as well. Before we do this, though, a couple links. As you know, I rely on my Patreon, my PayPal, and my merch store to help the channel to continue to grow and go. Those links are in the description below. Also, Dogman Frightening Encounters, Volume 1, 2, and 3, the audiobook version. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeffrey Nadolny. They're available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes. The links to those audiobooks are also in the description below. Now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's get on with today's upload, shall we? Today's first part of the upload. 2 years and 4 months ago, an angel was taken from Beaufort County, North Carolina. Her name was Brenda Hamilton. On February 15th, the community was awoken by the mauling of this woman, and no answers have been given to the community or us as a whole. Roughly 16 hours ago, though, there was answers given, and the community of Beaufort was not really buying it. And neither am I, and neither should you. A subscriber from the Beaufort County area emailed me today, and they are not buying it either. So I am going to share with you the case of Brenda Hamilton, and then share with you the update that just is not satisfying. Beaufort County, North Carolina. The haunting case of 77-year-old school teacher mauled to death by an unknown animal in coastal North Carolina is being taken nationwide in search of answers. It's been 6 months since Brenda Hamilton was attacked while walking her dogs in Beaufort County, and deputies have yet to figure out what exactly is to blame for her killing. Deputies have speculated it could have been a coyote, wolves, or even wild dogs, but DNA evidence has concluded only that the attacker was canine in nature. The sheriff's office said in a press release. The Beaufort County Commission voted Monday to launch a committee in search of a definitive answer, with the intention of having national experts weigh in, reports WITN. The vote was unanimous and included money to pay consultants, WCTI stated on Tuesday. There is a concern in the community that because this attack was from unknown sources that it could happen again, Commissioner Hood Richardson told WTIN. As a matter of public safety, we need to bring this mystery to some kind of conclusion. Rumors are spreading on social media of what might be lurking in the woods. In my opinion, it's a Black Panther, posted Teresa Sawyer Hoffman on Facebook this week. Just a few days ago, a neighbor, just a couple of houses down, went outside. They said a big black animal ran by them. One word, hybrid, wrote Chastity Lauren Paul on Facebook, praying they find out for the sake of the family and for everyone in Beaufort County. Been uneasy since this happened, especially taking my dog outside to use the bathroom early morning or right before bed. The County Commission has already gotten input from the state's Wildlife Resource Commission, U.S. Fish and Wildlife, and Western Carolina University, reported that Washington Times on July 11th. Western Carolina science teacher Maureen Hickman told commissioners the animal may have been a hybrid offspring of a dog and coyote or dog and wolf, WCTI reports. Hamilton was a wife and mother and had been a teacher for 51 years, most recently at Pongo Christian Academy, which referred to her on Facebook as the school's matriarch. She was attacked at about 5:30 a.m. February 15th while walking her dogs in the Pantego community. about 135 miles east of Raleigh, according to Beaufort County Sheriff's Office. A family member in the area told investigators they were awakened by their dogs barking by the road and investigated to find Hamilton lying in a ditch submerged up to her shoulders in water, the sheriff's office release said. EMS personnel arrived to find Hamilton suffering from catastrophic injuries to both arms, both legs, and scalp, according to the release. A considerable amount of blood was also found on the road, leading investigators to where Hamilton was found in the ditch. The two dogs found near Hamilton were examined about an hour after the attack by deputies and animal control officers. The dogs displayed no signs of aggression, the release states. The department took 14 DNA samples from pet dogs in the area but found no match. After the completion of all testings and a review of scientific and circumstantial evidence in this case, we are unable to make a definitive determination as to what type of canine attacked Brenda Hamilton, stated the department. Now, I've covered this so much that I'm just going off of my head because I remember just so much of it. So there was a nutria found roughly 6 to 7 feet away from her. Dead, of course, but oddly enough, she was found in the ditch off to the side of the road in water up to her shoulders. Another case just around the same time was the doctor from Georgia, and she was found in a ditch up to her shoulders in water, pulled out of her car. And those are the two similar things that match up, just like the Lipin, Texas, and Colorado case, the Durango, Colorado case, both had a perforated hole in their neck. So there's a lot of circumstantial evidence. Today that community got an answer, finally, and it just doesn't jive with me and shouldn't with you, and definitely doesn't with the subscriber who was talking to me about it earlier, and with the community. Here's the update. A pack of large dogs is responsible for North Carolina teacher's horrific death, new report says. The vicious mauling death of 77-year-old school teacher in eastern North Carolina is being blamed on a pack of dogs, according to the report presented this week to the Beaufort County Commissioners. However, it remains a mystery which dogs killed Brenda Hamilton on February 15, 2019, as DNA evidence found no clear match to canines living in the area. The report states, "In my opinion that Mrs. Hamilton was attacked by dogs, this based on physical blood splatter and DNA evidence," wrote medical examiner Anne-Marie Clark of the University of Florida Veterinary Forensic Laboratory, based on the amount of physical damage caused to Mrs. Hamilton. It is probable multiple dogs, probably 50 pounds or more. I can't speculate on where the dogs came from or if they were pets or feral. Hamilton was attacked at 5:30 in the morning while walking in Pantego community, about 135 miles east of Raleigh, according to Beaufort County Sheriff's Office press release. Neighbors told investigators they were awakened by their dogs barking by the road and investigated to find Hamilton lying in the ditch submerged up to her shoulders in water, according to Sheriff's Office release. EMS personnel arrived, finding Hamilton suffering from catastrophic injuries from both arms, both legs, and scalp. Considerable amount of blood was also found on the road, leading investigators to where Hamilton was found in a ditch. She died of her injuries days later in the hospital. Hamilton was a wife, mother, and grandmother, and taught 51 years, most recently at Pongo Christian Academy, which referred to her on Facebook as the school's matriarch. The severity of her injuries and inability to name the culprits led to wide speculation in the community, including talk of hybrid wolves or panthers being responsible. There are no panthers, pumas, or mountain lions in North Carolina, the state states. Investigators reported 14 DNA samples were taken from dogs in the immediate area, but found no match. Clark's report was presented on June 7th to the Beaufort County Commission and credited to experts at Maple Center for Forensic Medicine and at the University of Florida. The commission asked the university experts to determine the species that attacked Hamilton and generate a profile if her killer was found to be a dog or dogs. Among the report's conclusions, the DNA evidence points to domestic dog. However, there is no solid evidence linking the attack to a specific dog in the area. There is no evidence the attack involved bears, wildcats, puma, panther, mountain lion, bobcat, or other species of canine like coyote, wolves, fox. The conclusions were based on the current available data and are subject to change if new data becomes available. Social media reaction to the report has ranged from doubt about the conclusion to fear the animal responsible will never be caught. I find it hard to believe dogs did this, Brandon Barry said on Facebook after sharing news of the report. It took almost 2 years to say it was a dog. I'm not a forensic scientist, but I say no, Buddy Brickhouse wrote. I live close. It wasn't no dogs. I still say panther. Not more than a month later, one ran a lady in the house 100 yards from where she was killed, Terry Hopkins posted. Well, it's a sad day because that commission relied on a lot of people. The Fish and Wildlife, federal, state, universities, and they were paid. In the community prior to this wonderful report, wonderful, full of shit report, really wanted answers and really deserves answers, and that community will not lie down and take this lightly, like Durango or Lipan or all these other counties that are doing it, because this is what happens, and what should happen in communities when something like this happens. You don't turn a blind eye. You don't just move on. You don't forget. And that's why I haven't forgotten, and that's why I keep looking at all these cases, because this is what's important. Yeah, encounters are cool to listen to and great, yeah, yada yada. But the real deal is finding out why and what is going on and how we can stop it, and why the goddamn government hasn't done anything about it yet. And they need to answer, and we need to make them answer. We need answers. Claudia Ackley is suing the state of California for proof. She was silenced. I guarantee she was told to stop. Actually, I know she was told to stop with that lawsuit. And she did. And I think she's picking it back up, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But we need to really figure out what's going on, and we need to stand up. Because that's the only way we're going to get answers, guys. And I don't care anymore. If someone is going to silence me for what I'm saying, then it's true. We need to stand up. We need to get the answers. What we really need to do as a whole is, when we hear encounters, we take what we think is viable from that encounter and we include it in our checklist. Okay? And there is no better channel or worse channel or worse source of information. Any information is good information, because it's something. And I think if we all work like a whole, if we all work as a whole and put the petty bullshit aside, because I've never really, I've never wanted to beef with other channels, and I haven't. I think we all need to work together, and we all need to just share and move forth. I know a lot of people have said it in the recent few days and this and that, but I've been saying it for years. And that's what needs to happen. Truly. I'm gonna stay on top of this. I've got the subscriber who emailed me earlier today. I'm gonna give them a call and talk to them a little bit about all of this and what's going on sometime this weekend when I get a free moment. But I will keep you guys in the loop because that's what you guys deserve. We all deserve. As citizens of the United States, we deserve to be safe, and we deserve answers. We deserve the truth. So we are comfortable going outside at night, walking our dog, or walking with our loved one or our children. You know, just going for a walk. It's summertime. Why the hell should we be afraid? No more. No friggin' more, guys. It's time to stand up. Today's second part of the upload is a subscriber's submission. Hi Jeff, hope all is well. Here's my encounter. My name's John. I'm 50 years old from South Central Ohio. My brothers and I have been running around in the woods day and night since we were kids. It was late summer 2013 in Organa, Ohio. We were planning a late night catfishing trip on the Little Miami River. It was a pretty good hike to get to where we planned on fishing. About 30 minutes through the set of woods across the field and through more woods around 11 p.m. with only the moonlight and a couple of flashlights to guide us, we reached our destination and rigged our lines and baited our hooks, threw our lines out and kicked back, and was enjoying the cool night air when our peaceful night was suddenly interrupted. A peaceful, I mean no crickets, no tree frogs, none of the usual sounds you would expect on the river on a warm summer night. We heard a low howling roar from across the river. My brothers and I looked at each other, and before any of us could utter a word, there came a crashing from the woods across the river, and a huge silhouette or shadow was standing at the edge of the woods close to the river. All we could make out was a black shape standing at the wood's edge, just out of reach of our flashlights. It looked to be somewhat human-like, but much too big to be a man, and appeared to be somewhat hunched over. If I had to guess, its height would be 8 feet or so. We only saw it for a couple of seconds, then another howling roar sound that vibrated through my chest. Without a word, we jumped up, grabbed our poles, and without reeling them, started running back the way we came, the hooks and lines getting tangled in the trees until the rods were pulled out of our hands by the trees and brush. We just left the poles and kept running. I think the poles are still in those woods to this day. We exited the woods a lot faster than we entered them, 3 grown men running like scared little children. We have returned recently during the day, and were going fishing there again, but felt uneasy and couldn't, and left. We agreed not to tell anyone about that night, and haven't until now. I talked to my brothers, and they agreed to me telling the story to you. I believe Ohio may be a hot spot for Dogman, and with the recent upload about the Ross County, Ohio brothers that took down a Dogman, I felt compelled to share my encounter. Thanks, Jeff, for all you do. Appreciate you. God bless. I'd like to have John on sometime, just to hear that story out of his mouth. Ohio, I think, is a hot spot for Dogman and Bigfoot, and has been for a very long time. So hopefully he agrees to come on. But I've got a lot of interviews lined up for the next couple of weeks, so I think you guys are going to be pretty satisfied with interviews. Today's third part of the upload, and final part of the upload, is another subscriber submission. Jeff, I'd like to tell you of a strange creature sighted on June 6th. The location was on Route 6 in Corbin Bypass near Woodbine, Kentucky, at about 3 in the morning. A friend and I were headed back to my house after picking up a third friend who needed a ride home after his car broke down. I stopped on the bypass getting ready to turn onto Route 6, and to my left I saw what I thought at first were 2 dogs about to go into the road. There was a raccoon in the middle of the other lane. Looks like it had just been recently hit. I had not noticed it 15 minutes earlier. The two things were going for the coon. One was on the side of the road, and the other was about halfway to the coon. Not wanting to hit someone's dog, I flipped on my off-road lights, and that is when I told George to look at the dog. It was something like a dog. Both creatures were the size of a small lab, about 20 inches at the shoulders higher in the back than in the front, with a long-looking tail. The larger of the two looked at the truck as I stopped. Then we noticed its face. It looked somewhat human. The second creature, now looking away from the light, and on its long, thin tail, what appeared to be quills popped out. The first creature then stood up on its hind legs and looked at us, and what appeared to be a smile and nod walked over and picked up the coon and looked back at the second creature, and what appeared to be a motioning to come on. It then also stood up, and both walked across the road into the ditch, and outside the whole thing probably took under than a minute. But we got a very good look at them. They were a little under 4 feet, tall and tan in color, walked well on hind legs, then tails with what appeared to be quills on the second face, and first one seemed almost human with eyes and a smile, like it acknowledged us stopping for it. Behind legs went on all fours, seemed to be taller than the front, and on the front legs were not paws but hands. I have no idea what these creatures were. That did not seem to be mean or dangerous, just incredibly odd. This occurred in Knox County, Kentucky, which is the next county west of Bell County, Kentucky, which is next to Tazewell County, Tennessee, or some other cryptic sightings have took. Don't know where these things are coming from, but it's getting a little strange, Jeff. It worries the guy that contacted you after seeing the Dogman in Jackson County about the safety of his family. As I said, I've seen Sasquatch and maybe a Dogman/werewolf. It's getting to be strange out here. I'm also going to be contacting this guy and having him share this encounter so he can share better in his own words so you guys can hear it. It's hard narrating what someone has typed, and it's better when someone is telling it that lived it, I feel. I want to hear this, I want to hear Sasquatch, and I want to hear his Dogman encounter as well. Hopefully you guys do too, which I'm pretty sure you do. So, anyway, that's today's upload. I hope you enjoyed it. And if I sound down, it's because I am. A lot's been going on in my personal life. My dad, my daughter, both are having some health issues right now. And this whole Brenda Hamilton thing really kind of was a kick right in the dick on this, because I figure, at least just don't say anything instead of bringing some bold-faced lie up. And it's just sad. It really is. That this is the government we're supposed to trust to protect us. And they can't even be honest with us. So, I don't know. Anyway, thanks for everybody listening always. And with that, I'm going to bid you farewell. And see ya!